Namaste. Welcome back as we continue the discussion on mental health through the lens of Ayurveda. This week, we're talking about Ayurveda's tools of diagnosis and then a comprehensive treatment plan for when we have mental health issues. The diagnostics for mental health in Ayurveda are both subtle and very practical in method. They use mental well-being, they see mental well-being as a fundamental part of life. And the diagnostics go way beyond just the symptom analysis. It dives deep into an energetic and the constitutional patterns. Ayurveda approaches diagnosis not in a way that labels us. It doesn't label disorders. It sees it as a sacred process of deep listening to the body, to the mind, to the spirit. It seeks not to just categorize illnesses. That's not Ayurveda's goal. It wants to understand the person, the whole person, the unique constitution, the prakriti, the current state of the imbalance, the vikriti, and all the subtle causes that are contributing to the person's emotional, mental suffering and what can bring them back into well-being. The mental health diagnostic process in Ayurveda, it's multidimensional. It involves being with someone, not for 5 minutes, not for 10 minutes, not for 15 minutes. Oh, you don't feel good, here's your drug. No, it involves hours, if not days or weeks. It involves physical observation. There's an intuitive part too. There's intuitive perception of what's going on. So the practitioner needs to have their own practice, their own spiritual understanding of self to have a clear mind. The practitioner, the counselor needs to have insight into the individual's inner and outer life. What are the patterns? Who are their friends? We need to know everything. Equally important, it includes an awareness of the interplay of everything we've talked about so far in this podcast, of all the podcasts, the doshas, the gunas, the quality of the mind, the karmic patterns, these lifestyle choices. The main thing Ayurveda offers is this threefold diagnosis. It's three foundational pillars called Darsana, Spartina, and Prashna. Darsana means the vision. It means to see, but it's observation. So a practitioner may observe the client's posture, their facial expressions, their micro movements, eyes, skin tone, the gestures they're making, and their overall vitality. In mental health, particular attention is given to the eyes because we see the eyes as windows of the soul. You've probably heard that. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So it's very important. Eye contact is very important. That provides safety. That provides trust. Facial brightness, subtle expression, and through the gunas, how the gunas are expressing. There needs to be clear perception in the practitioner and the therapist's mind for observation. That's number one. Number two is sparshana, which means touch. It includes palpitation, and for those who have been trained, pulse reading, nadi pariksha, to read the pulse. The pulse is a deep diagnostic tool that reveals the balance of the doshas, the strength of the ojas, the vitality, and the mental proclivities, the mental tendencies. Subtle, even very minute, subtle pulse variations indicate anything from grief, anxiety, emotional blocks, unresolved trauma, anything. We can feel the mind in the pulse. We can feel the heart and the consciousness in the pulse. It's beautiful. And then prashna, to inquire. It's such a sacred science to ask the right questions. This should come from a deep and intuitive form of questioning that goes beyond these surface level symptoms. How are you? How are you feeling? No, we need to really question. We need to want to know everything about the person. The questions should explore what is their life purpose? What are their family dynamics? What were their childhood experiences? What are their spiritual beliefs, if any? How do they sleep? What do they eat? What are their emotional habits? What are their dreams like? It's a sacred dialogue. It's a doorway into the client's inner landscape, into their world. This is the beginning of Ayurvedic diagnosis. Then the tongue, the eyes, the nails, reading the body. Oh, it's profound. Ayurveda places great emphasis on these nonverbal indicators of mental health, which are accessible through this simple observation. Looking at the tongue, jiva pariksha. A coated, dry, or cracked tongue can indicate that there's toxins, ama, in the system. This correlates sometimes, or often actually, with unresolved emotions. Specific regions in the tongue correspond with different organs, and different organs correspond with different emotional centers or different emotions. If there's a heaviness in the back of the tongue, it could reflect subconscious grief that's being stored in the colons or lungs. Looking in the eyes, the netra pariksha. I like using the Sanskrit. It's vibrational. Probably you don't care. I hope you care. Netra pariksha is the eye examination. It's my dharma. It's my duty to tell you the Sanskrit the best I can. It's vibrational. There's some beauty in there. It's ancient. It's the wisdom of the elders. But the eye examination, the brightness or dullness of the eyes, the clarity of the gaze. Are they beaming light or are they beaming sadness? Everyone knows this. Your eyes look so sad. You look so filled with light. The patterns or movements in the eyes, the rings in the eyes, they all reflect different mental states. Shifting eyes, the eyes are moving all over the place. This could suggest a vata imbalance or some inner turmoil. Intense eyes may reveal like high pitta. Or your eyes are beaming red. You're filled with anger, right? Dull, heavy eyes reflect kapha dominance, maybe depression. They're always looking down. Looking at the nails, naka pariksha. The shape, the color, the texture of the nails. This can show how well the nervous system is functioning or how well they're absorbing. Brittle and ridged nails can really show that there's vata depletion, malabsorption of minerals. That also means malabsorption of life experiences. Things like this. These physical signs, they're not interpreted in isolation and they're not meaningless. They mean so much. Our body is a reflection of us. It's a reflection of a person's energetic and psychological reality. And we really also want to focus on determining the mental constitution. Remember, the dosha prakriti is the physical constitution. Manasika prakriti is the mental constitution. The interplay of gunas, the sattva, rajas, tamas. This is so important. We need to know this about ourselves. Even if we're only listening to this podcast, if we only want to know for ourselves, it's very important. This is how we know the self. There's a saying, know thyself and thou shalt know the universe and God. We need this information, even if we're not a practitioner, even if we're not sharing this with anyone. We need to know these things for ourselves. We can do our own examination. Then maybe we don't need to go to the doctor. We can look at ourselves and come up with a proper conclusion. Actually, the word doctor in Latin, doctor, it means to teach, to educate. The person should be educated enough to educate the patient in the care of their own body, so the doctor's not necessary. But for many people who aren't filled with compassion, that's not profitable. So why would they do that? Maybe they don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we hope that every doctor is filled with compassion. That's my prayer. But we want to identify the person's mental quality, because this can provide insight into our own emotional reactivity, our own coping mechanisms, our own ability to have resilience under stressful situations. What's our spiritual receptivity? And do we need more stimulation or do we need grounding? One man gathers what another man spills. Beautiful quote by Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter. But we need to understand that who we are. We need to understand what motivates us, what inspires us. We can also look at the Vedic astrology chart, the role of Jyotish as a diagnostic tool. The birth chart reveals so much. Planetary influences on the mind. Moon, Mercury, Rahu, Ketu. The word lunatic, luna, moon. When the moon is full or the moon is dark, our minds do different things. Now, each person's individual, depending on what sign the moon is in, what house the moon is in. When Mercury retrograde, communication. When Mercury retrogrades, communication, technology, even the inner technology gets a little haywire. Rahu and Ketu, the north and south node of the moon. They're karmic indicators. All these things play a major effect on our mind. And we can see in the chart different karmic patterns that can shape our psychological blessings and our challenges. And we go through these planetary periods called dasha. And these can influence our mental and physical state. And we can also determine by the chart what our spiritual tendencies are. What is our dharma? It's amazing, actually. So if the moon is debilitated, it may reflect emotional instability or an unresolved karma with mother. Now, don't think if you know that your moon's debilitated that you have this. It's not true for everyone. This is just a general example. Another example is that if Rahu's placed in the fourth house, this is based on, a lot of evidence actually that, these are the patterns, but they're generalized. Everyone is different. That's why you need to have your own chart read. But Rahu in the fourth house may suggest that there's deep psychological disruption during the early childhood. Saturn, when it's afflicted in the fifth house, can indicate blocks to joy and creativity. All these things. The Jyotish, it means a science of life. Light. It's not used to predict doom and gloom. It's an energetic blueprint. But as the architect, you don't have to follow the blueprint. If you know that this is not balanced, then you can change it. It empowers us, actually. It's there to empower us to engage in our healing process with compassion and awareness. And, Ayurveda is very spiritual too. So if you don't like this part, then you don't pay attention to it. But Ayurveda looks at dream analysis and subtle diagnostic. The dreams are often recognized as reflections of the subconscious and unprocessed feelings, unresolved mental impressions. We actually take them relatively seriously. If we're having nightmares, reoccurring images, or symbols in the dream, that should be paid attention to. Those signs are important. So all of these diagnostics are performed with profound respect and ideally a spiritual attunement. And it's done with an attitude of non-judgment. We're trying to understand the truth. The practitioner, the counselor, the life coach they want to become a compassionate mirror. All we want to do is reflect what is true. The goal is not to amplify fear or shame. It's to relieve you from it. It's to free us from the fear and shame. So all these things really give insight into the mental health. And so Ayurveda's diagnostic tools, they're multisensory, they're multidimensional, they're soul-centered. It's a different way of thinking. The body, the mind, it's a sacred text that we can read and understand. It uncovers, when we can read the body, when we can read the soul, we uncover not just what's happening, but why, and with precision and depth and grace. And then we can offer it love and compassion and safety. So how does Ayurveda really focus on treating mental health? There's a whole system, sattva, vijaya, chikitsa, Ayurvedic psychotherapy, and mind training. These are ancient tools for restoring our mental balance and building the inner love light. It's so beautiful. The system, it's such a powerful tool for restoring this inner balance. We train the mind. We reconnect with our soul. It's such a refinement. We're reclaiming our clarity. We're reclaiming our strength of mind, of purpose, of understanding our strength of purpose. It's a return to our natural state. Who doesn't want to be in their natural state? All addictions, we're trying to get back to that. There's no bad parts. There's just wounded parts. There's unloved parts. So we just got to give that love. In a luminous state of consciousness, we have awareness, we have peace, we have resilience. So again, I want to focus that we're not fixing anything. We're rather than fixing the mind's dysfunction, Ayurvedic therapy cultivates a higher potential. It creates devotion to oneself, to life. It creates discernment, clarity, compassion. We want to acknowledge the full spectrum of human emotion. We're not saying don't have other emotions. We want to have the whole experience of life. But we do it with consciousness. We do it with awareness. So it anchors us in the spiritual truth that we're the self and that we're always whole, unbroken, and untouched by suffering. But sadness, that's part of life. It shouldn't be denied. It shouldn't be suppressed. It shouldn't be drugged out. We should be taught how to feel it with acceptance and how to work with it, how to dance through it. But that sattvic quality, again, it keeps coming back to sattva. We want to promote that subtle energy of the mind, that lightness, that clarity, that wisdom, that inner stillness and contentment, because we want our lives to be filled with kindness and compassion. We want to be filled with courage without aggression. We want to be connected to the truth and a higher purpose. A sattvic mind still feels sadness. It just doesn't be consumed by it. A sattvic mind still experiences anger without becoming anger. A sattvic mind can still have fear and face it with steady awareness. It does not repress emotions. A sattvic mind is not about repression. It's not about being hijacked either. It's mental freedom. The goal of Ayurvedic mind care is mental freedom. The mystic prophet Bob Marley said, "Free yourself from mental slavery. None but ourself can free our mind." We have to do the work. Ayurveda provides the roadmap. We have to drive the car. There's 5 traditional methods in Ayurveda for sattva vijaya. There's 5 pillars in the classical text: jnana, wisdom. And that can happen through self-inquiry, best, atma vicharya, self-reflection, examining, am I my thoughts? Am I my mind? Am I my emotions? Am I this ever-changing body that will perish? Understanding the nature of the self versus the mind. Very important. Having knowledge, having wisdom. And Ayurveda does encourage the study of spiritual teachings, satsangs, listening to the company of the truth, reading spiritual books. Beautiful. We listen to the elders who their laboratory was themselves. They spent decades, lifetimes exploring the inner laboratory to give us this wisdom. So now we have it at our fingertips. We have it so much easier than they did in some ways. The second of the 5 pillars is vijnana, discrimination, developing buddhi, developing that higher intellect so we can discern between what's truth and what's illusion, what is soul and what is ego. Then we can reframe our thought patterns and beliefs into a higher state of awareness. Darya. It's courage and patience. It means building inner strength and resilience through steadying the mind. And the mind becomes steady through discipline, not force. Discipline is not rigid. It's not forceful. Discipline is devotion. It's devotion to ourself, to our own healing, to our own awakening. It's learning to be with oneself or to sit with oneself, to be with discomfort without reacting or running away from it. Then the 4th step is smriti, remembrance. Remembering oneself, remembering one's purpose, remembering one's nature, essential nature, whether it's through hearing about it or direct experience. And anchoring in our experience, anchoring in beautiful spiritual experiences, or when we did have moments of clarity, when we do have moments of clarity, remembering that as truth. And really the fundamental practice is mindfulness and conscious awareness, doing mindfulness practices, being aware of awareness, being aware that we're unaware is the first step in awareness, being aware that this present moment is all we have. So it's a remembrance. And the final state, and I can only tell you about it because I'm not there, it's called samadhi. Samadhi on one level means same as. We merge into a state of absorption of that which we are meditating on. So we want to merge into the Supreme Self. If we were meditating on a form of God, on Christ, on Buddha, on Shiva, Krishna, the Divine Mother, we merge into that form as that form itself. It's a merging of the mind. It's a meditative absorption that is entered through meditation, mantra, breathing. It's not a practice. It's what happens at the end of all practices. I've had glimpses of this, so I can talk about it to some extent, but I've never been able to stay there. It's just glimpses from time to time. It's the silence when everything else ends. It's touching the state beyond thinking, beyond the mind, beyond anything, really. These are not abstract ideas or ideals. They're the practical tools that for thousands and thousands of years have been woven into this therapeutic container that's designed to strengthen our mind while we reconnect to our heart, to our soul, in and through the body. So many practices are trying to get out of their body. Forget the personality, forget the form, forget the world. No, it's in and through the body. God is us. God is in a human form. Man was created, man, woman, they, them were created in the image of God. God experiences God through God in the human form. Denying the body is denying the existence of creation. So those were the 5 major forms of traditional ways of creating sattva in the mind. Specifics, mantra. Mantra is the sacred sound vibrations that restore harmony in the universe. In the beginning was the word. It was a vibrational pattern. It's a sonic calibrated medicine that's tuned to a specific energy frequency. Different mantras do different things. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It calms anxiety. It brings peace internally, externally, and in the field around us. Om Namah Shivaya. I am one with the supreme consciousness. It releases fear. It awakens an inner power. Om Parashakti Namah. I am one with the supreme Shakti, the supreme creative, divine, feminine, motherly energy. Soham. I am. For grounding and aligning the breath and the self. There's so many mantras. The most easy one, Om. Om. In the beginning was the Word was God, the Word was with God. Aum, Amen. Aum is in 3 parts, A-U-M. The Creator, the Preserver, and the Transformer. It's everything in there. Just chanting Om over and over again. In Ayurveda yoga, they recommend japa. That's repetition of mantra. And science has proven this now without any trace of doubt that it reduces stress hormones. It synchronizes our brain hemisphere. It induces this natural meditative state. Mantras penetrate where words cannot. They enter into the energetic, karmic, kosha, subtle layers of the human existence. They're so powerful. They've chanted mantras and changed the structure of water. They have mantras playing above sand, and sand forms these magical geometric shapes. It's so profound. All I can do is say, try it and see what happens. Go on Spotify, go on Apple Music, whatever way you listen to music, and listen to mantras and see how you feel. Then Ayurveda goes to pranayama, breath. Breath is emotional alchemy. It is our life force. It moves through the body. This is life. Without breath, there's no life. You exhale and don't inhale, you're done. When the breath is erratic or shallow, the mind is agitated and unstable. When the breath is deep, rhythmic, consciousness, and filled with consciousness, awareness, the mind is settled. The mind is at peace. So what Ayurveda therapy does is recommends prana based on the individual's physical dosha and their mental state. There's so many different techniques. There's nadi shodhana or anuloma viloma, which is alternate nostril breathing, which balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain. It purifies our subtle nerve channels. It creates complete emotional equilibrium. Brahmari, which is bee humming, soothes the nervous system, and it promotes an inner stillness and healing. It actually decalcifies the pineal gland. It regulates endocrine system. Shitali or shitkari, this is a cooling breath that reduces our anger, our inflammation, our erratic, impatient mind. For a kapha or tamasic person, kapalabhati, skull shining, luminous light, it energizes the breath. It relieves depression and mental stagnation. The breath is a bridge. It's a bridge between the body, the mind, the spirit, the heart, the mind. Through pranayama, expanding prana, expanding life, emotions are metabolized. Emotions are stabilized. Traumas are softened, and clarity can be restored. Then from there, Ayurveda looks at meditation and mindfulness, because what that's doing ultimately is anchoring us in our witness state. Really, I think at the heart of all the sattvic therapies, meditation. It's not just relaxation. That's wonderful. Relax any way you can. Well, not any way, mindfully relax. But meditation is a way of contacting our witness consciousness. Ayurveda calls that sakshi bhava, the witness within. That's beyond the fluctuation of the mind. That's beyond the vrittis of the mind. Meditation there's so many meditation techniques out there. It can be mantra japa, the repetition of the mantra. It can be gazing at a candle. We can have a yantra or a chakra visualization. We can do self-inquiry, the Atmavicharya, who am I? That's a meditation. Staring at the horizon of the ocean or a sunset, that can be a meditation. And the first time you sit down for it or you begin it, don't expect the mind to sit still. The mind is going to be restless. It takes practice. It takes days, weeks, months, years, lifetimes of practice. But the inner witness awakens. It's the pause in between the breath where that stillness is, where that awareness is. It's the space between stimulus and response. This is in that space, in that luminous space. That's where the healing happens. That's where the old stories, the outdated programs dissolve. That's where the ego, the ahamkara, this small ego, the limited ego that's trying to control us softens. And the soul, us, ourself, begins to re-inhabit our body. We become embodied. This is living embodiment. Meditation is embodiment. Meditation doesn't happen outside of your body. It happens inside your body. All of life happens inside the body. Why are we trying to get out of the body? We're not here that long. We will get out of the body eventually. It's guaranteed. But for now, we want to be embodied. Disease happens when we are not in our body, when we're not aware. Spiritual psychology and Vedic counseling are very similar, but there's some slight differences. So, for example, modern applications of sattva vijaya. This is my personal favorite. It's Compassionate Inquiry by Dr. Gabor Mate. To me, it is the pinnacle of counseling methods. And it goes along with Ayurveda, with modern psychology, it goes along with plant medicine, therapy, it goes along with anything. It can be infused in every line of work. Vedic psychology specifically is exploring our dharma, our samskaras, the karmas. Tantric therapy, the tantric inner work, real tantric inner work, is about integrating our shadow and divine energies. It's not about free sex and new age sex and all this. It's about doing inner work through the tanmatras, the organs of perception and the organs of action. There's somatic experiencing, somatic awareness, which involves nervous system regulation. All of these things are a return to the self. All of these models used within the context of an Ayurvedic framework, the Ayurvedic principles of the individual, offer a complete multidimensional approach to trauma, to our grief, to our anxiety, to the quest for meaning, to the quest for purpose, to the quest for returning to self. This spiritualized way of looking at psychology does not deny anything. It does not deny our pain. Again, it sees pain as a doorway to our awakening. It is a messenger here to wake us up. Healing is not about coping better. It's not coping mechanisms. That's still survival. Coping is still survival. It's about remembering, remembering, re-putting together who we truly are beyond the mind's condition. As a sovereign being, Ayurveda rewrites the story through action. Mental healing is physical healing. Physical healing is mental healing. Ayurveda gives simple embodied practices. One of the greatest things, go outside and watch the sun, walk in the sun, walk and touch the earth every day. Reset to the circadian rhythm of life. Cook nourishing meals that build your ojas. Cook fresh, in-season local food. Do ritual, do prayer, do pujas, do fire homas. Do journaling, do gratitude journaling, do self-inquiry. Nature, 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 nature. I cannot express the depth and profundity of how much nature offers us. Go camping for a weekend or a week and just be in nature. Turn off the cell phone. Skip this podcast for a week. You can catch up next week. Let's go be in nature. Watch the river, watch the water, watch the grass, watch the clouds, watch the rain, watch nature. Nature doesn't resist anything. Ayurveda says we should do acts of service. We should do some seva, selfless service. This awakens our compassion and purpose. Each and any of these lifestyle changes rewires our nervous system in a gentle way that embodies us, that empowers us. It strengthens our buddhi. It aligns us with our dharma. It turns healing, returning to health, returning to wellness into a sacred path, a sacred lifestyle. It's not temporary intervention. It's a way of living in the sacred, in the divine, in nature. This is how life is supposed to be. Ayurveda, yoga, sattva, vijaya. It's not a quick fix. It's a return. It's a return to our innocence. It's a return to clarity that we had when we were born before any trauma. It's a return to the heart's natural intelligence. It's a return to the natural radiance of the mind. It's a return to the natural radiance of being. It's a remembrance of source. Ayurveda psychotherapy, it's not about managing pathology. It's about restoring the luminosity of human spirit. Another component to this, a big component to this, is a thing called Agni, fire. Fire digests food and it digests the mind. Again, the mind is not treated as an isolated system from the body. We must digest our food in order to nourish ourselves. We must digest our life experience in order to nourish our heart and consciousness. This is why in Ayurveda, digestion is both physical and mental. It's the heart of health. It's the heart of Ayurvedic healing. Modern science is totally catching up. I mean, they've got this. They refer to the gut-brain axis, the enteric nervous system, the second brain. Ayurveda has known this forever. What we eat, how we digest determines not only our physical vitality, but our emotional stability, our mental clarity, and our spiritual receptivity. So there's these different Agnis. The Jatra Agni, the digestive fire in the stomach and the intestines. The Bhuta Agni, digesting the Panchabhuta Agnis, digesting the 5 elements, the elemental nutrients. And Manasa Agni, digesting capacity of the mind and nervous system. When Agni is strong, physical, mental, emotional Agni, we have clarity. When it's not, we have Ama. It's sticky. It's toxic residue that fogs the gut, the mind, the channels. What happens when we have mental agni, mental ama, when we have mental toxins? We have brain fog. We overthink. We have heavy emotions. We have poor memory. We have lack of clarity. We have mood swings. Does this resonate with anyone? Does this resonate with everyone? If there's these symptoms on a regular basis, there's some blockage. We're not living in balance. The goal, reignite the fire. First priority of any treatment in depression, anxiety, grief, spiritual disconnection, light the fire. Get stoked. Get the fire stoked. Turn on the light in a darkened room. Turn on the light in our heart. We need to be inspired, inhaled, inspired inspiration. We want to create an energetic flow. We want to light the fire that motivates us. When we eat, we want to have a sattvic mind. We want prana to be there. We want life force to be there. Even eating can be a spiritual discipline that leads to mental health. We can do eating rituals. Again, it's not just what we eat, it's how we eat. The state of mind during digestion gets imprinted on our cells. Eating in a peaceful, distraction-free environment. Not looking at the computer, not watching TV, not reading the news, not answering phone calls. Sitting down and focus on the act of nourishment. Give thanks and praise. Thank Mother Earth. Thank the farmers. Avoid intense conversations when you're eating. Chew slowly, completely. Enjoy every bite of it. Make it ceremony. Make it ritual. It's the nourishment from Mother Earth. Steady digestion. Steady routine in digestion builds inner predictability, which soothes our nervous system, our gut-brain axis. 90% of the serotonin, more than that, 93% to 97% of serotonin is produced in the gut. Our gut flora directly impacts our mood, our cognition, our immune system. When there's inflammation in the gut, how can the mind be calm? It leads to depression. It leads to anxiety. But a healthy microbiome, it's the greatest resilience we have. It's the greatest immunity we have, especially to stress. Most of our immune cells, most of our nervous system is in the gut. Ayurveda offers spices and foods to nourish this. We can nourish the microbiome with different digestive spices, herbal tonics, microbiome. One of the most important things in Ayurveda is the herbal medicine, medya rasayanas. Medya is mind, herbs to nourish the mind. Medya rasayana. Substances that specifically enhance our cognitive function, our memory, our emotional stability, and the sattvic quality. This is traditionally a big part of a treatment plan when we're trying to create mental and spiritual health. There's some beautiful herbs in the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. Okay, again, this isn't medical advice. This is just for education purposes only. But the main medya herb, brain herb, Brahmi, Bacopa monieri. It calms the mind. It calms vata and pitta. It enhances our memory while reducing anxiety. It's a rejuvenative for the whole nervous system. It's a profound herb. One of my favorites is ashwagandha. It's the best adaptogen that we know of. It's an adaptogen for stress and burnout while building our ojas and strengthening our immunity. And it's so calming to the mind while energizing the body. If we take it in the morning, we have energy. We take it at night, it helps us have a good night's sleep. Shanka pushpi, amazing herb. It soothes all the mental agitation. It's amazing for fear, overthinking, insomnia. Another herb, jatamansi. It's one of the most grounding herbs there is. I use jatamansi oil on my hands, on my feet, on my heart, my temples before bed. It's also amazing for grounding us into the body. It balances the rajas and tamas. And it's deeply calming for anger, for fear, for trauma. Amazing. I put it in my bathtub even. Guduchi, it's also known as amrita, nectar, the nectar of immortality. It clears excess toxins from the mind while supporting our digestion and immune system. And tulsi, holy basil. Wow, what a plant. It's the Divine Mother Lakshmi incarnated into a plant. It supports our prana. It's so sattvic. It promotes spiritual awareness. We can take the tulsi tea. We can even wear tulsi beads, do mantra on tulsi mala. It's elevating to the mood. It provides mental clarity. All these herbs are amazing. They can be given as teas. They can be given as powders. They can be given in herbal jams and ghee and honey. Now there's capsules and tablets. That's also okay too. It's better to taste the herbs though. Another way of helping the mind, when useful and right for the individual, is fasting or mono diets. because that helps with cleaning the mind. It helps with cleaning the digestion. It removes the heavy depressive energy. It can be a long cleanse or it can be a short cleanse. If it's going to be a long cleanse, it needs to be guided. But we can do light mono diets. We can do a mono diet of khichdi, rice and dal cooked together, or a mono diet of vegetables, something simple. Again, this isn't advice. These are just educational ideas. Ayurveda gives herbs for purgation, virachana, herbal purgatives to remove toxins from the colon, and it removes excessive anger too. Oil enemas, bastis, for trauma, for anxiety. And then for the depth of systemic purification, we have panchakarma, 5 cleansing actions. Fasting's not suitable for everyone, especially if there's serious vata imbalances or eating disorders or really weak ojas. This case, gentle nourishment is more beneficial than deprivation. So everyone has to be considered. Ayurveda teaches us to heal the mind, but we have to begin with the gut, and we have to treat each person as an individual. What we ingest becomes our consciousness. Each bite is an offering, not just to the body, to the soul. Each thought is an offering, not just to the body, to the soul. Each action is an offering, not just to the body, not just to the soul. Ayurveda gives us lifestyle medicine, dinacharya, ritacharya, the daily and seasonal activities. True healing happens as a result of how we live moment to moment, day to day. The small repeated choices we make when we wake up, how we move, what we eat, how we breathe, form the energetic foundation of everything, of our physical, our emotional, our spiritual well-being. This is the essence of lifestyle medicine, the daily practice, the dinacharya, and then doing ritucharya, seasonal routines that align our biological rhythm with the greater intelligence of nature, with those seasonal changes. When the body and mind are supported by rhythm and coherence, our nervous system is at peace, it relaxes, our emotions stabilize. The mind is beautiful. It's such a beautiful tool. The core elements of Ayurveda's dinacharya for mental wellness: wake with the sun, rise early before 6 a.m. if possible. That's when the sattvic quality is strongest in the day. It supports our mental clarity for the rest of the day. And that's when the most inspiration happens and spiritual insights can happen at this time. Ayurveda says doing tongue scraping and oil pulling to remove toxins that are trying to detox overnight. And that stimulates our digestion for the day. Doing abhyanga, self-oil massage, calms vata. It strengthens the ojas. It grounds us into the body. And doing this warm oil massage, it's so important for trauma, anxiety, and people who have touch deprivation. We need touch. Doing warm sesame oil, coconut oil if you're a pitta, a lighter oil, maybe mustard seed oil for kapha. But doing warm oil massage, getting massage, putting oil in the nose nourishes the pranic pathways. We call this nasya. This treats chronic stress. This treats prana disorders, tension headaches. Then we can do the pranayama, the breathing. We can meditate. We can do mantra. Doing intentional movement, move it or use it or lose it, right? Intentional movement, doing yoga practice, doing qigong, tai chi, walk in nature. It supports our natural energy flow. And I love going to the gym. It's such a great, it builds the physical body, but it's such an emotional release. The stress builds up. Dancing is such an emotional release. Doing things at the same time each day. Eating the meals at the same time each day. Going to bed at the same time each day. This reduces decision fatigue. If you just have a consistent schedule, you don't have to think so much. And at nighttime, really, how we spend the night is so important. Ideally, we're going to bed by 10 o'clock to support the body's natural detoxification, the rest cycles, the rejuvenation cycles. But nighttime, if we have all the lights stimulating us at night, it's hard to wind down. We need to have candlelight, soft light at night, very light dinner, some soft music, meditation at night, intimate time with your partner, allowing the mind to slow down and shift. If you're on the computer, if you're on the cell phone, you're doing work up until when you go to bed, it's very hard to get a good night's sleep. The mind is dealing with all that stuff. So all these practices, they're actually simple. And if you have a difficult time, this is overwhelming, so many things to do. Start with one. Do one for a week or one for 2 weeks, and then add another one. And over months, slowly incorporate these different practices. Seeing life's rhythm as therapy, but also seeing it as a way of just living in balance. But these rhythms create mental discord. When we're out of rhythm, it creates mental discord. When we have rhythm, we go back into balance. So all of these provide the framework for us to look at the spiritual dimension. Because I was saying at the beginning, mental health is ultimately a spiritual issue. It's separation from self. And again, it's not limited to the brain or nervous system. It reflects the soul's condition. It's the state of our buddhi, the inner wisdom. And it represents the degree to which we live in alignment with our purpose, our dharma, our sacred path. So most modern psychology stops at the emotional or cognitive level, but Ayurveda looks at the spiritual. So again, we don't want to bypass our trauma. We don't want to bypass our pathology. We want to contextualize it with the deeper story of the self. Atma Vidya, knowledge of the self. The knowledge of the self beyond the mind and the body. Again, doing that inquiry. We're not our thoughts. We're not our emotion. We're not our story. We're the awareness itself. So we want to become witness to it. We want to be able to step back and watch it as we're watching the story on a screen. Ultimately, healing begins when we remember who we truly are, the unchanging pure consciousness. And then we are aligned with our dharma, our soul's unique purpose for being here. It's about creating a sacred relationship with ourself. So it's an integrated approach. The mental health challenges are increasingly complex, and Ayurveda provides an integrative approach to all of this. It's a soul-centered approach that is just absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely possible to live an illuminated life in balance, free from suffering, where we're in mental harmony, we're in emotional freedom, and we're in embodied wholeness. This sacred exploration of mental health through Ayurveda is not just ancient knowledge. It's the inner truth. That healing is not just about removing what's causing us pain. It's about remembering who we already are beneath all the noise, beneath all the imbalance. Ayurveda reminds us, it teaches us that we are not broken. We are not diseased. We don't need fixing. We are beings of prana. We're beings of life. We're the expression of Atma, of soul, in a web of life. Eternally, at our core, we are whole. What we call mental illness is a warning. It's a signpost. It's the light on the dashboard saying, check engine. It's pointing us towards our forgotten rhythm. It's pointing us towards our neglected truth. It's pointing us towards our unprocessed pain. It's not a flaw in the matrix, or it's not a flaw in the fabric of who we are. It's an invitation to listen deeply. The path of healing begins with rhythm, with daily ritual, seasonal awareness. The path of healing is remembering ourself. It's returning to ourself. We were never sick. The body is in balance. Beneath the pain, beneath all of it, we're pure consciousness, unchanged, ever present and free. Knowing the self, that is the medicine Ayurveda asks us to find, knowing ourself. It's the medicine beyond all other medicine. When we seek anything outside of ourself, we're actually looking for ourself. And we're already here waiting for ourself in silence. The saying, we are the ones we've been waiting for, it's completely true. A small prayer for healing the mind before we close. May the fire of Agni burn through the fog of confusion. May the waters of Ojas soothe every anxious current. May the winds of prana blow gently through your heart. May the light of Tejas ignite the lamp of inner truth. May your mind remember its source and be humbled. May your soul remember the path and walk it. May your life become medicine, not just for you, but for this world in need of your peace. In the Ayurvedic paradigm, we do not chase healing, we return to it. Mental health is not an absence of difficulty. It's the presence of resilience, rhythm, clarity, purpose, and soul connection. This is not merely an idea. It is a way of living, breathing, choosing, relating, and remembering. It is the great return to wholeness, to wisdom, to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into mental health through the lens of Ayurveda. If you found value in it, please share it with others. If you feel called to, share your experience here. Whatever platform you're listening to on, share your comment, share your experience. What's your living truth? What's your living wisdom? What do you do on a daily basis to create more physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health in yourself? When you share your thoughts, your views, we expand our circle of learning. We grow together as one family, united in love, in service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, walk in balance, walk in peace, fill your hearts with love, and express it in everything you do. Namaste.